7 of the World Series to decide the championship of baseball.
Base hit right field. Barbeau scores. Ball 4. Red Sox lead 3-0.
There's his blooper pitch. There it is. A high drive. He was waiting for that one. That one is gone over everything. Perez slammed it over the screen. There's a line shot to center, and the Reds have tied it. There's a looper. They drop. It's in for a hit, and the Reds have the lead 4-3. The Red Sox are down to their last out. The Reds are 1 out away. Carl Yastrzemski gets a standing ovation. Maybe it's fitting he has the last shot.
Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight. And the deep left center. She is gone. Throws the burst in time. Ball game over. World Series over.
William Francis Lee, as he was born, he may not be that anymore, but there's his motion. He was a little bit miffed because he didn't start the 6th game. He went off after his manager and the press and the radio and the newspapers. He said that Darrell Johnson was taking the heat off himself, but actually I think it's a little bit of a Lee ploy because that's the way he works off the field.
I think what he said afterwards, after he said he was miffed, when he said, if there is a 7th game, the spotlight will be even brighter. And that's the kind of guy he is, pitching tonight.
He likes it. Pete Rose leading off, 8 for 23 in the series. One of the big factors in the Reds coming here in the 7th game. Ball 1, we're underway. Rose, a switcher, batting right for the very few times that he has done it this series. A ball and a strike to leadoff batter Pete Rose, who will be followed by Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench.
One of the early signs of Lee has it are the batters hitting the ball on the ground. His fastball is a natural sinker.
Swinging on the curveball that time. He has a curveball of various speeds. He will cut the fastball, which will run in on right-handed batters. He throws it across the seams. And he has the screwball, a good one. Short fly to right. Long run for Evans. He's there. 1 out.
He's covered everything in this series in right field. Short, long, into the stands, along the fences. About as good as young right fielders you'll find today.
That position out there was made for him because of the spaciousness of this park, with all the room to roam that he has, and also with that strong throwing arm, he can make the long throw.
He could play anywhere in the outfield, but right field is his spot with that strong arm across the third base. And he's had participated in something like 9 double plays this year, in which he got assists on knocking people down at home plate and at third. Here is Mr. Joe Morgan, 5 for 23. Ball 1.
Joe wanted me to say a happy birthday to his mother, Ollie, tonight, who was watching in Oakland, California. His mother's birthday.
Breaking pitch for a strike. The count is 1-1. Morgan is just about odds-on favorite, I'd say, to get Most Valuable Player award in the National League this year, and deservedly so. He does everything. Fastball. Missed. 2-1. Lee likes to work quickly. He's used to move around that 18-foot circle a lot out there, and they started to keep him minding his business. That's 3-1 now.
Second game of the World Series, we didn't get a chance to see Lee make any of the fanciest plays he's been noted for behind his back or through his legs. Maybe we'll catch his act tonight.
I told you about them, Tony. He can do it. Strike. Morgan tried to hold up there, but couldn't. It was in there anyway, according to plate umpire Art France. Joe says, okay.
Here's the pitch. He took a little bit off, the sinker ball. Yeah, he went far enough.
It was over, too. 3-2 now to Morgan. 1 out, top of the first inning, game 7. Sugar, the first base coach.
You mentioned the home plate umpire, Art France. We're back where we were for Game 1 with a lineup of umpires that made the complete rotation. France was a home plate umpire in the opening game here in Boston.
That's right. 3-2 pitch. Got him. And you don't see that often. Joe Morgan doesn't strike out often.
That's his first strikeout of the series. That's the rest of the umpiring lineup. Pelosi at first, Barnett at second, Stello at third, Maloney in left, Davidson in right. And Morgan has struck out for the first time in the 75 series.
2 out, Johnny Bench, 6 for 25. All one.
It'll be interesting to see how Bench goes after Lee today. The first time he saw him in Game 2, he had 3 balls to center field, and of course a double to the right field corner. But yesterday he started pulling the ball a little more.
The shortstop, Burleson. 3 out. 1-2-3 inning for Lee. Going to the bottom of the first inning. Cincinnati nothing. The Red Sox coming up. Going into the bottom of the first inning, and left-hander Don Gullett, 15-4 on the year. And in this series, 1-1. And you remember the last time he was out. An overpowering game against the Red Sox last Thursday night in Riverfront Stadium. They got to him later on, but he was just awesome. And actually, that was even the only laugher of a ball game. Bernie Carbo, 2 for 4 in the series, and they're both home runs, both as a pinch hitter. And he not only talked his way into the starting lineup, but hit his way into it. He'd been figuring he should have been there all series. So he goes against his old ball club. A dramatic 3-run homer last night that changed the whole game around.
We're already comparing that with the Bobby Thompson blast back in 1951.
Darrell Johnson is not worried at all about left-hander against left-hander in this one. Carbo, Doyle, Yastrzemski, Lynn, and Lee, all left-handed batters. Right. Carbo is always a good first-half hitter. He was this year, even better than last year. He got into July hitting well. That inside-out stroke, he'll hit to the opposite field. At 15 homers. Fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
First game up here, Gullett did not have what we thought was his good fastball, and he may have been worried about that wall out in left field, especially the right-handed hitters. He was outside, then he had to come in. It's a different pitcher in Cincinnati.
Outside, ball 2. Funny, Rico Petrocelli, Tony, said that he looked faster to him here than he did out in Cincinnati, and it's hard to understand because I didn't think anybody in the league was faster than he was last Thursday.
He was not only fast, but his ball was darting around in the strike zone. It was moving in all directions.
Well hit to left center field, toward the wall. It is off the wall. Taken on a hop by Geronimo. Double for Carbo.
We have the kind of wind here tonight, blowing a little bit in from left field that actually held the ball in the ballpark. Here's Geronimo high off the wall. The wind held it in. 6 feet or so from going out of the ballpark, so Carbo continues with a hot bat.
He now has had 2 homers and a double in 5 times up. The wind is very important here. The first 2 games, especially you fans in Cincinnati, saw the wind blowing in and wonder why nobody hit the wall. When the wind's blowing out, it's different. That is not a good indication. The center field flag is blowing from third toward first.
Doyle, fly ball right field. Griffey right there. Carbo tags, bluffs, holds. 1 out. Ball getting away, too. With that getting away, Bernie could have made it in, but you never know that. So Denny Doyle, who was 7 for 26 in the series, flies out. Carbo at second base. Gullett returning to the mound to face Carl Yastrzemski. And Mr. Yastrzemski, very quietly, has climbed into contention also for a possible look, if the Red Sox should win it, for most valuable player in the series. 8 hits in 24 times. 2 of the runs he's knocked in have been game winners.
Red Sox really, as we look at Carbo going back to second base, aside from the men they've been platooning, that's Carbo, Doyle, and Beniquez, have been very consistent with their attack. They all, from number 2 spot through 8, have 7, 8 hits. They've had great consistency at bat, which has been a plus for them.
One strike pitch. Breaking ball that time, 1-1.
Asked Darrell Johnson why Carbo tonight with the left-hander going. He said, because Doyle, Yastrzemski hit Gullett harder than my right-handers out in Cincinnati. Gullett comes in over the top. He's not one of those sidearm left-handers.
2-1.
That's the pitch he's going to have to get over the plate with all the left-handers in the lineup for the Red Sox, that curveball. Don Zimmer.
In the opener against Gullett, Yastrzemski went 1 for 3 and knocked in a run with a single, and that got Gullett out of the ballgame. Big swing. 2-2. In the game in Cincinnati, Yastrzemski was 1 for 3 also. There is Carlton Fisk on deck. So Yaz is 2 for 6 against Gullett with a run batted in. And to Morgan. Yaz out, but that gets Carbo to third with 2 away.
Carlton Fisk last night had a moment he'll never forget the rest of his life, neither will Red Sox fans. Here's the dramatic last part of him rounding the bases. His 12th inning home run. Watch him land on home plate. His teammates waiting for him. A moment he'll never forget.
He sure won't. They rang bells in Charlestown, New Hampshire for him last night.
The man that rang the bell said, I watched him grow up from a baby, and I thought I had the right to do it.
So Fisk is in with 2 out and Carbo at third. No score, bottom of the first. Big rip. He wanted another one.
I don't believe he woke anybody up with those bells last night. Do you?
I don't think so. They may have been awake. Check swing, and it strikes. 0-2 to Fisk. Good shot of Carlton during the playing of the national anthem. He was singing it along the line. They're shifted around to left on him. And Gullett just wanted him to chase bad fastball outside.
He thought his long drive to left was going to be foul. But it sort of started a hook and then drifted back fair and hit the foul pole. He stood at home plate and watched it.
He admired it. He knew he didn't have to go anywhere. Ball 2. 2-2. Carbo at third.
Gullett looks to have his good fastball now. If they can lay off, the Red Sox, that is, that high fastball away, it's tough to do because it takes off so. You've got to get him to get the ball down.
Got him. He got him, and he challenged him with a fastball. So the threat dies, and it's no runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. And going to the second inning, Cincinnati nothing. Second inning at Fenway, 0-0 ball game, and the Reds coming up against Bill Lee with their cleanup hitter, Tony Perez. First baseman, 4 for 23 in the series, 2 of them home runs. Ball 1 from Bill Lee.
I asked Tony how he liked hitting this ballpark. He said, I don't like it. I hit the ball to center, right center anyway. I don't pull all the time.
Oh, there it is. Slow, eephus curveball. Perez wanted nothing of it.
Look at Tony's expression as this ball loops high in the air over the plate. He wants to go, but he can't pull the trigger.
Fastball, Petroselli. Got him. 1 out.
He's done a good job the entire series down there. He's made some good plays. He's made some tough plays look easy. This is not an easy play. You can see where he started. He roamed 8-10 feet to his left. He knows he's got time with Tony running. Been outstanding defensively.
He has certainly played the best third base defensively since Brooks Robinson's exploits with the Orioles.
He's playing it a lot like Brooks. Not unusually fast, but gets a good jump. a great season defensively when he was in there. Uh-oh, well hit toward left field, and Carbo will play it off the wall. Into second base goes Foster. Here's the throw, and he's out. Bernie Carbo throwing out George Foster, 2 away.
The home park advantage, you're going to see it right now. We've heard so much about the famed wall in left in Fenway. Carbo with Lynn backing him up with a perfect throw to Denny Doyle to get George Foster.
Carbo can't do anything wrong. He made a good play last night when they put him in the late inning. He's hitting home runs. He's doubled tonight. He is red hot. Perfect throw. Doyle puts the tag on the sliding Foster.
Great positioning by Larry Barnett, the second base upper. He got right down there in on the play.
Carbo, nobody realizes, has a very strong throwing arm. About as second on the club to Dwight Evans and maybe Freddie Lynn. But it's strong and it's accurate. Here is Dave Concepcion up. He's 4 for 24.
Here's the tag, Denny Doyle. Foster ran hard right from home plate. When you play the wall like Carbo just did, make that kind of throw with a strong arm, that's what happens.
To Concepcion, bounder to short. Burleson. And Yaz picks it off and swings the tag around for the third out. No runs, a hit, and nobody left. After an inning and a half, Cincinnati nothing, the Red Sox.
Due to time constraints, we'll fast forward to the bottom of the third inning.
Here's Lee up now, and there's strike 1.
So it's no accident.
No, it's not. That's the way he follows through, and the glove just kind of guides itself somewhere. It has eyes of its own. Strike 2. Gullett's got 2 quick strikes on Lee. Bill is 0 for 3 in the series. He likes to hit, but he hasn't hit much. And he tries to bunt on third strike, and that's strike 3. That ball was nowhere near fair territory, as you see. Down in Dallas, he put it up on the table with him and ordered coffee for it and separate checks and things like that. Ball 1.
This year he had the Buddha, the counteract, the witch doctor from the Orioles.
Yeah, he's got a little gold Buddha. Yeah.
Did the gorilla pick up the checks?
No, Bernie had to pay for it. That's why he got rid of it. 1-0 pitch. It's inside and 2-0 to Carbo, who doubled his first time up. Two balls, no strikes. Scoreless ball game, third inning. He got it in there with a check swing. Good fastball. Gullett has 3 strikeouts in the game. He's walked 1. And the only hit he's given up was to Carbo. Breaking ball, 3-1.
He still hasn't been able to get his breaking ball over, and the Red Sox will continue to lay back, look for the fastball.
3 balls, 1 strike to Carbo. There's the fastball, and he's got it by him. 3-2.
Last night, it almost looked like the pitch that he nearly struck out on before he hit the home run in the 8th inning.
He was
as
jammed.
Rose said, he had a pitiful swing on it, and he turns right around and wham into the center field bleachers.
All he was doing with that pitch was fighting it off. 3-2. To the opposite field, but foul. Ball 4. He's on again. Second walk given up by Gullett. 1 out, 1 on, and Denny Doyle coming up. He flied to right field in the first. Sparky Anderson and his brain trust down there. Anderson has made a lot of friends in Boston and all over the country, and his gracious interviews, his candid remarks.
He's a great ambassador for baseball.
Gullett to Doyle. That had something on it. Ball 1. Denny finished strongly, as you can see. He also had that 22-game hitting streak in mid-season. Longest in the American League. And they had Carbo going. A play was on, and Doyle, who is good with bat control, fouled it off. 1-1 to Doyle. Base hit right field. Carbo. Will try it for third. Here comes the throw. Not in time. Garbo at third on a solid single to right field by Denny Doyle. Here's Yastrzemski up with a chance to help his ball club and put himself out in front. Yaz grounded to second base in the first inning, and they're coming alive here at Fenway. Base hit, right field. Garbo scores. Here comes Doyle. Here comes a throw. Not in time. Yaz goes to second base. Everybody's safe. 1-0 Red Sox.
There's Sparky's on the phone to his bullpen. He has Sugar making the call. 2 consecutive plays on balls hit to Griffey. He overthrew his cutoff man. The Concepcion going to third. Doyle did not take advantage of it, but Carl Yastrzemski did. He kept on going to second. There's Pedro Barbone, who's getting loose.
And now the Red Sox have runners in scoring position. Second and third with 1 out, 1 run in, and the left-handers have been hitting Gullett this inning. And Fisk is going to be put on. First base open. They'll take their chances with Freddie Lynn.
Out in Cincinnati, it was Doyle and Yastrzemski who hit the best shots off Gullett. They were better than the right-handers in the Red Sox lineup, as we said earlier, and they've been that way tonight.
So Anderson wants Fisk out of there, although Gullett did strike out Carlton his first time up. But they want to get the bases loaded, take the chance on the force at any base, or set up a double play with Lynn, a left-handed batter, on deck.
Let's look at that base hit. There's Pete Rose, who's trying to give a decoy. Take a throw to get Yastrzemski at second.
Cacophony of sound here at Fenway as Freddie Lynn is up with the bases loaded. Third inning, Red Sox leading 1-0. Lynn walked in the second. Big rip, strike one. And Gullett just went to him that time. He challenged him with a popping fastball.
Cincinnati infield at double play depth. Ball is hit to Rose or Perez. If they can't turn the double play, they'll come home.
And quickly, Gullett's ahead of Lynn, 0-2.
Here's Bench, the kind of beating that, even with a mask, a catcher takes at times on the foul tip. Well, that's the umpire's mask that hit. Art France, that'll jolt you.
0-2, 1 out. Little bit low, ball one. Didn't miss by much. 3 on. Doyle at third, Yaz at second, and Fisk at first. Looking over the shoulder of Carl Yastrzemski as he looks over his own shoulder towards coverage possible by Morgan. 1-2 to Lynn. Ball 2. Didn't miss by much. Been low twice now to Fred. Gullett working in a jam here. Strike 3. And Lynn doesn't care for the call as he is out on strikes. A called third strike and a clutch one for Gullett. Rico had a foul home run his first time up and then struck out. Ball 1. Rico has 3 runs batted in the series, and a couple of them have been big ones.
All 3.
Miss Don Gullett's wife, Mrs. Gullett, having a time right now. Ball 2.
Red Sox hitters now have started to lay off that high fastball. They were swinging at it the first couple of innings. There's Sparky. They're getting Gullett to get the ball down. His fastball is not quite as lively, and he's getting behind because of it.
2-0 to Petrocelli. Bases full. Ball 3. No place to put him. Petrocelli right now is 9 lifetime Grand Slams, and that's more than any active player now in the American League. He's taking. Harmon Killebrew had to have more, but he's out. Foul, and Gullett's right back with him, 3-2. Here's a big pitch. Everybody will be going. See if he works from the stretch. Some pitchers don't, and it's a big mistake. All right, 3-2, full windup, runners going. Ball four. Red Sox lead 2-0 as Doyle scores.
The 24.
2-0 lead for Boston. Petrocelli with an RBI. Base is still loaded. Sparky Anderson still worried. Batter Dwight Evans. Seventh. Ball one, very high and outside.
Gullett looks almost too strong tonight, too rested.
He's walked 4 so far, and he's struck out 4. 3 of the walks have been this inning, 1 an intentional one. Ball 2. Gullett on the year averaged slightly over 3 walks per 9 innings. About the same as his average last year. Now he's already walked 4. 2-0 to Evans. Ball 3. And he is high and outside with everything.
Boy, that's frustrating for a manager to be in that dugout and watch those pitchers throw those balls with men on like that. Frustrating.
3-0 pitch. Ball 4. Another run across. Red Sox lead 3-0 as Yastrzemski scores.
And like Darrell Johnson in yesterday's ball game, who went a long while with Louis Tiant because Tiant is Darrell Johnson's best. Sparky going a little bit longer with Gullett because he knows Gullett is his best.
Well, the Red Sox bench, number 12 was Bobby Heiss, who hasn't even played in the series and is one of the most enthusiastic players that the Red Sox have. Sparky Anderson goes right along with Gullett. He's got Bourbon and Billingham ready in the bullpen. And here's Rick Burleson up, the number 9 hitter this inning.
And right now, Sparky Anderson is managing with his heart. He does not want Gullett to go out of the last game of the season and look badly, and that's the kind of man he is.
Little foul ball. It's going to go out of play. Strike 1 to Burleson, who flied to right his first time up. So the Red Sox, with the benefit of just 2 hits this inning, have gotten 3 runs. The wildness of Don Gullett. 4 walks in the inning, 2 of them forcing home runs. Youngster with a game battle on his hands right now. Ball low. Burleson had a notion. That pitch wasn't too bad. That was a little bit low, but over the plate. 1-1 to Burleson. Carves a foul out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Gullett has a stuff tonight. There's no doubt about that.
He's
when he's
throwing
in that
hard.
strike zone, you're not getting around on him. All the hits have been by left-handers, oddly enough. The right-handers haven't been able to get around on him.
Doyle and Yastrzemski pulled him, and Carbo went to the wall for the base hits. It's 1-2 now to Burleson. 3-0 Red Sox, 3rd inning. Inside, 2-2. Boy, that's nasty. A wicked pitch.
Bench never ceases to amaze me with his agility behind the plate, the quickness of his hands, the sureness. He does it again. He might have saved a run right there.
Strike 3 to Burleson. He comes back to strike out the side, actually. And 3 runs for the Red Sox. They had a pair of hits, and they leave 3 after 3 innings, 3-0. You're going up there to nosebleed heaven there, I believe. You're right on top. Those kids are up there. They're lighting sparklers. They're having a great time. Gives me acrophobia, as a matter of fact. So I don't bother with it.
Anybody who's seen a lot of games in this park knows without the wind blowing in, that's Joe Morgan's wife, by the way, when the wind is not blowing in, a 3-run lead is not much in this ballpark.
No, he's seen it dissipate so often, so quickly. Joe Morgan struck out in the first. Lee's pitch low. Ball one. Bill had to sit out a long inning now. Let's see if it affected him at all. There he bunts. A beauty. Lee will play it, not in time. He can't get it over there. He had to make a do-or-die effort with his bare hand, but a perfect bunt by Morgan.
And this is something that Morgan rarely does. He doesn't beat out many bunts. He doesn't try to. He likes to pull the ball. This is just perfect. As soon as he made Yastrzemski try to field it, you can see how Lee falls off toward the third base side. No chance for a play, although Lee makes one heck of an effort.
Tried to scoop it to Yastrzemski, but that's a base hit in any ballpark. A perfect drag bunt.
Now let's see if Morgan, even though he's down 3-0, tries to excite the Cincinnati ball club and try for the steal. He's done it in the past when his team's been down.
Well, he seems to have figured out Lee's move. At least he says he has, and told Griffin and Concepcion and others about it. Johnny Bench is 0 for 1. He grounded to shortstop in the first. There's Morgan with his lead. And a good one. About a 5.5 step lead. Ball one.
He marks off 15 feet. He comes out in pregame practice, goes to the edge of the grass, paces it off, puts a little mark in the grass. 2 feet longer on left-handers than right-handers, which is unorthodox.
In his home ballpark, he can mark it a lot better with that dirt around first base and then nothing but the artificial turf.
Joe going back.
Going back, and it was a pretty good pitch to go on, Tony, if you had to. It was a soft pitch by Lee. 2-0 to Bench. 3-0. And now Lee is digging himself some trouble. The Reds were down 3-0 last night early, and they came back. They went ahead by 3.
Ned and Kurt, this is the part of base stealing that Morgan talks a lot about, and he says base stealers don't get enough credit, and that is psyching the pitcher out, worrying about him at first, and getting the fastball or bad pitches to the hitter.
Whoa, strike called. Bench thought he had a walk. Forget it, Johnny.
3-0, Johnny left too soon. The umpires will always tell you in this case, how did you know? You weren't there to see it. You were starting out of the box, didn't have a good look.
Doing Edgar Kennedy slow take. 3-1 to Bench. To deep right center. Long run for Lynn. He's there. He's got it. And can't make any other play. Morgan plays it cozily, and Dyke Evans fell down. Almost got in his way.
Here's Lynn with that drip that just has become so familiar, that nice glide of his. The wind was pushing the ball away from him a little bit. He had thoughts of going to first to throw behind Morgan, but Evans got in his way.
That was a good pick there, wasn't it?
Good rolling blocks. Lynn is very deceptive in covering ground with those long, graceful strides.
All right, here's Tony Perez. Grounded to third his first time up. Four for 24 for Perez, including 2 home runs in 1 game in Cincinnati. There's Lee's move. Bill picked off a dozen people this year. There goes Morgan. He's got it stolen, boy.
Up.
Carlton had trouble getting the ball out of his mitt. He really swiped that one. That's 8 steals now for the Reds.
You talk about reading a pitcher. He read him to the point where he goes in standing up. Fisk did get the ball caught in the webbing of his glove, but it was just no contest, so Morgan does, in fact, know something about Bill Lee.
Got a great jump that time and steals a base. And Fisk couldn't have gotten him with an M14. 2 strikes to Perez. Petrocelli's back.
You got to keep your eye on Morgan here, too, because he says at times he can steal third easier than he can second. Either Burleson or Doyle too close to him around the bag.
I don't know, though. With 3 runs down and Perez up there, maybe you just hold. Pop-up. right side into shallow right. Evans on. Doyle wants it, but it's Evans. 2 outs.
Doyle wants everything out there, doesn't he?
The little guy ranges pretty well out there. So now there are 2 down with Morgan at second, and here's Foster. And George has 8 hits in the series.
I'd have to think if this man played in this park half the season,
he'd love it.
That 20 home run total of his, or a little bit more than that, might be 30 or 35. He is really built for this ballpark.
He can hit here. And he's going to be a fine, fine ball player for years with Cincinnati. They got him from San Francisco, and great pickup.
Everybody said, who's George Foster?
Got him on the changeup. See if there's room for Fisk. Yep. The changeup gets Foster, and it's no runs. 1 hit and 1 left. After 3.5 innings, it is 3-0 Red. It looks like something out of an old Sherlock Holmes movie. Somebody hanging. But he's watching the game, and the Red Sox bat in the 4th inning. It is Bill Lee leading off, ball 1. Don Gullett in there. Walked a couple of runs home and gave up another one in the 3rd, but got out of it by striking out Burleson with the bases loaded. A strike to Lee, who fanned. Well, he didn't fan. He struck out his first time up. He tried to bunt on the 3rd strike and fouled it off. 2-1. Lee was a pretty good hitter in college at Southern Cal. He'll tell you. But all pitchers do tell you that. 2-2.
Did he bring his honey to the ballpark tonight?
Yeah, he always has that. And the ginseng and all those other incantations he goes through. He's on to transcendental meditation a little bit. Reads Kurt Vonnegut. And he gets a base hit to right field.
All the hits by left-handers.
Right. Bill Lee with his first hit of the series.
Gullett continued having problems getting his breaking ball over. That looked like a curveball or something off speed that he just hung up in the eyes of Bill Lee.
Bernie Carbo coming up, and he's perfect on the night. Has doubled and walked and scored. 3 for 5, a double and 2 home runs. Lee at first. And bullpen action again for the Reds. Bad pitch and gets away from bench, and Lee goes to second. Wild pitch.
Gullett trying to bust Carbo high and tight to make him pop the ball in the air. Bench starts moving out a little forward and then loses the ball off the edge of his glove. Scored as a wild pitch.
They may have a change of Red Sox strategy now. Don Zimmer, the third base coach, talking to Carbo with a runner on second, nobody out. As you look at Fred Norman, a left-hander, and Pedro Borbon, the right-hander.
So Sparky's got people ready as Carbo comes up with a count of 1-0. Red Sox leading 3-0 in the 4th inning of Game 7. It's high, ball 2, and Gullett is way up on everything. Red Sox being selective, and no wonder. Carbo walked a lot of times this year. He was more selective than he had been. Toward the middle. Morgan looks at third but goes to first. Carbo's out, but Lee moves to third with 1 out.
Bernie does his job. They took the bunt off. He was trying to pull the ball. Just gets by Gullett to his left as he falls off to the third base side. Little Joe with a good play. He's done a good job defensively. He goes very well to his right.
Now the Reds have to bring the infield in. With 1 out, Bill Lee at third, and the Red Sox ahead 3-0.
Yeah, they can't start conceding runs now. If they're down by 3. They can't lay back and say, we'll get to anybody safe. They got to cut a run off the plate if they can. They're in about 2/3 of the way anyway. That's shortstop Concepcion. Check swing, and it's taken by Rose. Fair ball. In time to get Doyle, and a break for the Reds as Denny Doyle on a check swing grounds to Rose and makes the play.
Good piece of base running by Bill Lee. lot of base runners might have been caught off on this one. Rose goes for him and sees Lee's back. Gets the runner first.
Okay, 2 down, and Lee at third base, and Yastrzemski up. Carl has grounded to second and singled home a run. Pop-up, sky high, and playable. Perez and Morgan. Joe makes the grab, and Gullett gets out of it very, very nicely. Dave Concepcion leading off for the Reds in the 5th inning. The Red Sox leading 3-0 in Game 7. Here's the hot pitch by Lee. Strike 1. They've come up with 3 of them in the game, and nobody's offered at them. Ball 1.
A lot of showmen in this game of baseball, but the Red Sox have 2 of them. One pitched last night, Tiant, and one is pitching today. There's Griffey.
Right, fastball. So he's moving the ball around, changing speeds. Lee has given up 4 hits, as has Gullett.
He has good control for the assortment of pitches that he has. He can keep that sinking fastball outside and low. It's difficult to do when you throw so many different deliveries and pitches.
Little high, 2-2. This big crowd here. Galvanized. Went for the fastball, and it's 2-2 to Concepcion.
The Reds are a great fastball hitting team. Lee is serving them up the sinkers, breaking stuff.
Well, he pitched as good a game as the series has seen, really. Sunday a week ago. Ran into trouble in the ninth and giving up that leadoff double to bench. Opposite field, Yaz backhands, has to hurry, not in time.
Lee broke late that time, coming off the mound.
Yep.
His style of falling so off the mound toward third base got him in trouble that time. And, of course, Concepcion leaning over the plate for the outside pitch got a good break out of the box. Watch Lee hustle over right at the end. He has the ball in his grasp when he tags Concepcion. Well, he never did have possession.
Griffey 1 for 1, single to right center. Pickoff attempt by Lee. Takes about the same kind of lead as Morgan, maybe a half step shorter. 1 ball, no strikes. Red Sox 3, Cincinnati nothing. The Reds batting in the 5th inning. A pretty good rip at that. Sinker. Fouled it off. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a ball, and the count is 2-1.
Yet I imagine that Lee will go during the course of the year some ball games where he get 15 to 20 ground ball outs.
Right. He was an average of about 15 to 17. He doesn't strike out too many. They wanted him to try for more strikeouts by using the fastball more, and close. There's the move. A look toward the plate, but the move definitely to first. Two and 1. Well hit. Doyle can't handle it. Gets by him into right center. And over to third goes Concepcion. 2 on, nobody out for the Reds in the 5th. See what they score that. The ball was hit sharply. Doyle was in front of it. He'll draw an error.
Denny has a chance here to smother the ball. Just dropped down in front of it. He got the in-between hop. Ball just skitters off to his right, off the edge of his glove, I believe.
He didn't get behind it. So it's an error on Doyle. And the Reds now have the tying run at home plate with nobody out. Cesar Geronimo hit into a double play in the 3rd. Lee working in a jam now in the 5th inning. Infield at double play depth. Foul back, strike 1. There they are, the runners at 3rd and 1st, Concepcion and Griffin. chopped that one. 0-2.
Sparky Anderson might be confronted with a tough decision with Gullett, the on-deck hitter, whether or not to leave him in. There's Sparky. Take him out for a pinch hitter. He's got Rettenmund right there with a helmet. You can see. He'll do that to decoy the opposition at times. He's got a bat. He should be loose.
And he's got Billingham throwing in the bullpen again. 0-2 to Geronimo. Jammed him again, and he fought it off. 0-2, and Lee is working hard now. Right now, the biggest game of his major league career. No argument there from Geronimo. And a big strikeout for Lee.
That was a super curveball, and now Sparky is calling Don Gullett back.
Rettenmund 0 for 2, formerly with the Baltimore Orioles. Ball one. This fella was a very good outfielder. There's Concepcion at third base. And Griffey at first, ready to go. Rettenmund was the fourth man in what was a very good outfield at Baltimore when Frank Robinson was playing there. Blair and Buford. 1-1. One ball, one strike to Merv. It's a hard threesome to break in, but he hit well in several years in the American League.
He had a couple of 300 years. Earl Weaver used him very wisely, platooned him against certain pitchers, and then he got hurt. He's never been the same.
1-1 to Rettenmund. To Burleson. To Doyle. To Yak. Double play, and Lee gets out of it. 6-4 to 3, and he engineers another.
Fisk is struck out and walked intentionally. They play him deep and toward left. He's the most dangerous hitter in the Red Sox lineup to aim at the left field wall. Strike by Billingham. He went through spring training after he came back in June from a broken arm. Strike two and a committed swing. Last year he had knee surgery. A hard luck player, but after he got into the month of August, he started to roll. And he was the most valuable player in the Red Sox in the month of September. We've seen two classic catchers in this series, Bench and Fisk. A little bit high. Hall of Famer Joe Cronin was marveling about the catching of Johnny Bench. How easy he does it. Out of a rocking chair in back of the plate. Sinker ball fooled Carlton Fisk. Billingham strikes out the first man he faces. And again, the long relief man becomes very important in a World Series game. With his team behind, Billingham has to hold the Red Sox. Fred Lynn has walked and taken a called third strike. If you're out in the outfield, this is what you're looking at if you're playing center field or if you're in the bleachers. Bench flashing the sign. Fred Lynn, Associated Press just voted him the American League Player of the Year as a rookie. He's a cinch for Rookie of the Year and may win the Most Valuable Player award all in the same season. When has that ever been done?
None.
He's hit better in Fenway than he has on the road. The count 2-0. Now it's 3-0 to Lynn.
A lot of his home runs were on the road, though, because this isn't tailored for his type of hitting. He's not a screen hitter here. He goes for center field, right center, right field.
Strike, 3-1. He used to have a broadcaster here in Boston years ago. He was a Hall of Famer named Frankie Frisch. And he used to moan on the air, ooh, those bases on balls. And that's what Sparky Anderson's moaning about tonight. Ball 4, and Lynn is on. And the Red Sox have received their 5th walk. Petrocelli has struck out and walked. Really had a home run his first time up on a long foul drive to left. That's Tom Yawkey, who's owned this ball club since 1933. His team has never won a world championship. They're in the series in 46 and 67. Lost each series to the Cardinals in 7 games. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sparky Anderson was sitting in his office about 4 hours before game time, and he said his phone rang, and it was Mr. Tom Yawkey, and Yawkey was thanking him for all Sparky Anderson has done for baseball. What a switch that is.
Well, that's the kind of man Yawkey is. He's all for baseball. Ground ball, base hit into left field. Well, the Red Sox have runners on first and second, 1 out. They're ahead 3-0, and the batter is Dwight Evans. Evans has fly to left, and he's walked. There's a long smash to deep center. Geronimo, draw a beat on this one. He has it. The tag at second, and Lynn is coming on to third. Geronimo makes him look easy out there. What a center fielder.
Lynn played it about a third of the way and then went back and tagged. That's how deep that ball was hit.
Great individual matchups in the series. Geronimo, Lynn, Bench, Fisk, Burleson, Concepcion. Cesar Geronimo, a man who is moving before the ball is hit, as most great center fielders are. He starts to his left and back, playing a little more shallow in the first 2 games up here in Fenway, and now he shows off that throwing arm, which he's got one of the best of.
Here's Rick Burleson. He's fly to right. He struck out. 0 for 2. Runners on first and third, 2 down. It's ball 1 to Burleson. Lynn at third. Petrocelli at first. Red Sox ahead 3-0. Each team has 5 hits. Ball 2. 2-0 to Burleson. Scrappy little hitter in that number 8 spot. Drove in 62 runs this year. Two and 1.
Not going to give him too much good to hit with the pitcher up next, although Lee, the left-hand hitter, would have the percentage advantage over Billingham.
2-1 pitch. 3-1. This will be a 3-1 pitch by Jack Billingham. Runner going. Outside, ball 4, and the Red Sox have the bases loaded, and Bill Lee has a real chance to help his cause.
He'd like that single now.
They give him a standing ovation. He's had 5 shutout innings. Long ways to go.
Part of that is due to the great pitching performance in inning number 5 when with men on first and third, nobody out. He called strike on Geronimo and then the double play. That was a great piece of pitching by Lee.
Whacks it back. 0-1 to Bill Lee, who has struck out and single to right.
He's not going to be cheated on his cuts, I don't believe.
I don't believe they have the old track 2 out for that. Came here looking a little mean tonight, didn't he?
Yep.
A 2 or 3 day growth. Billingham has a 1-1 count on Bill Lee with a bases loaded, 2 down. Lee hits a high fly to Geronimo, playing shallow. Back, he's there. He has it. Geronimo's very shallow for Lee. And just outran the ball. No runs, 1 hit, 3 left at the end of 5. And here we go with Pete Rose at the top of the order in the 6th inning. Reds trailing 3-0. Bill Lee slips the strike across. Rose is fly to right, hit into a force out. Morgan on deck, and then Johnny Bench. Inside to him, a low. Morgan getting loose. Bill Lee, born in Burbank, California, lives now in Stoughton, Massachusetts. That happens many times. Players come to a major league city and then stay there and become part of the community. 1-1 delivery. 2-1. Those that joined us late, the Red Sox scored 3 runs in the last of the third. Don Gullett walked in 2 of the runs. That's been the scoring. There's a base hit by Rose in the right field. And the fourth inning in a row, the Reds have had their leadoff batter get on with a base hit. Morgan has struck out and then beat out a drag bunt. Fouls it back. That is sinker ball pitcher Jim Willoughby. Rose at first. Nobody out. 6th inning.
Rose did this, the first man up this inning. Morgan, too. They're trying to slow Bill Lee down. They both stepped out. They want to upset his timing, his rhythm.
He goes 1-1 to Morgan.
He likes to pitch fast, doesn't he, Ned? Stay in the groove.
Yeah, he likes to just stay there. Last year, he didn't do it as much. He walked around a lot and plopped the ball in the glove, but he's more businesslike this year.
That was a curveball that Morgan wisely laid off of. He started after it. 2-1 to Morgan. Short lead at first by Rose. There's a fly ball. That's a tough chance, baby. No, Evans comes on. Ball went farther than it looked. Hit it off the bat handle, but it carried. We had 6 homers last night, 4 by left-handed batters. There's a drive that's going foul.
Bill Lee loves it when the big right-handers come up there trying to pull the ball off the wall. He figures it is to his advantage because he has the good tailing fastball, the sinker ball that moves away from the right-handed hitters. Feels he can get the ground ball to the left side.
He reminds me a lot of Mel Parnell, who used to enjoy great success here with a sinking fastball and a screwball and a breaking pitch. He used to feast on right-handers. There's a bounding ball to short. They've got one. They turn it over. Wild throw by Doyle into the dugouts. They had the double play, and Doyle threw it away into the Red Sox dugout.
Doyle was looking down at Pete Rose. He heard Pete coming. Here's Burleson with a nice, easy flip. Now watch Denny. He knows Pete Rose is coming, and Rose caused this wild throw.
Bench winds up at second, 2 down. Tony Perez up is grounded out and popped up. Red Sox ahead 3-0 at the top of the 6th inning. His fastball just is outside. 1-0. Red Sox have already turned 2 double plays in the infield and had time to make it 3. But they messed it up. Well, Rose messed it up. There's his blooper pitch. There it is. A high drive. He was waiting for that one. That one is gone over everything. Perez timed that blooper pitch and slammed it over the screen out in the Lansdowne Street. And now we have another 1-run ball game in this World Series.
That was a tape measure home run as the Cincinnati fans come alive. Mr. and Mrs. Bob Howsam alongside the dugout. He almost looked like he was waiting for it.
I was looking for when I saw his motion. I know he's going to throw it. The first thing he threw me one, I wasn't ready for. But this one, I just got ordered that one. I just saw his motion. He just stopped and threw it. I just stayed back on it and hit it well.
Well, that ball was creamed. It hit the turnpike out there, I believe.
That's his 3rd homer, and he has 7 RBIs. That's the most in the series. And now it's 3-2 Boston. Foster backing out on Lee. Failure to make the double play has been costly to the Red Sox. Again, Foster backs out. Now the Boston fans will get on Foster for stepping out just as Lee starts down with his delivery.
They're trying to upset Bill Lee. This is nothing new to Foster, but Morgan did it. Rose did it also.
And Lee brushes him back. Ball one. Foster has singled off the wall and fouled out. 2-0. Roger Moret, a left-hander, has joined Jim Willoughby, a right-hander, in the Red Sox bullpen. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Red Sox. 2 runs, 7 hits for Cincinnati. Right. Foster was asking for time, but he didn't ask in time. That was a legal pitch, the 2-1 delivery. The let-up deliveries outside, 3-1. Three-one pitch. It's a high fly out to Evans and right. Drawing a bead. And that's out, number 3. 2 runs in for Cincinnati. 2 hits, a home run by Perez. Nobody left. At the end of 5.5, 3-2 Boston.
Due to time constraints, we'll take you to the top of the 7th inning.
Concepcion leading off in the 7th. Hot ground ball to shortstop Burleson. Long throw, right on the money. 1 down. It brings to mind that we're going to be doing a Miami-Buffalo game. That's Rick Miller, who's gone to left field now for the Red Sox, replacing Carbo. A defensive measure by manager Darrell Johnson. Ken Griffey, a single, reached in an error. Ball 1 to Griffey. Billingham has pitched well since. High curveball. 2-0 to Ken Griffey. Batting 7th in the Red order.
Getting now to the part of the ball game, there's always pressure in the World Series, especially the 7th game. But when you get to the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings of the 7th game and the 1-run ball game, the pressure really mounts on the defense. And, of course, the offense when they're down 1 run.
And Lee runs it to 3-0 on Griffey. That's Mrs. Lee. Come on, Bill, get it over. Willoughby, a right-hander, Moret, a left-hander, are in the Red Sox bullpen. He walked him on 4 pitches. Lee has not pitched since October 12th, 10 days ago, and that was in the 2nd game. Now Darrell Johnson is coming out of the Red Sox dugout. Remember, Lee's had a tender elbow, but he went right into the 9th inning in Game 2 against the Reds and held them to 1 run.
He was asked the other day about what he did, what he said when Darrell Johnson came out to get him, or what did they talk about. He said, usually nothing at all. He just takes the baseball and I leave and I get mad.
And he's going to lift Lee. And he's going to bring on Roger Moret, a fast-balling left-hander, while Moret makes his way on. We have a break in the action here. Standing ovation for Bill Lee with a score. Boston 3, Cincinnati. We have just had a report that Bill Lee developed a blister on his left thumb. And that's why the decision was made to lift him. He could have had a shutout. If the Red Sox had turned the double play, he'd be leading 3-0. If, the biggest word in sports. And here's an if man right here. Roger Moret can come in and strike out 9 or walk 9. But he had an incredible record this year, 14 wins and 3 losses. Geronimo played a shade toward left. There's the move by Moret. Griffey has attempted 1 steal in this series and was successful. A ball to Cesar Geronimo. You get some young players that you think are promising. They go so far and they stop. Foster, Griffey, Geronimo were not thought to be stars, but they become fine ball players. They've developed every year. Ball 2. They have advanced each year. And the greatest minds of baseball have always wondered why some players stop and some players go on.
Up to the guy himself.
Inside somewhere. 2 balls, no strikes. Griffey at first. There's a pop up to the shallow center, backing up. Burleson puts it away, 2 down. Now let's see what Sparky does. He is going to pinch hit for Billingham. Armbruster batting for Billingham. He's had 3 previous pinch hit appearances. A walk, a sacrifice, and he's gone out. The Reds high with a fastball.
Moret combined with Bill Lee for successive shutouts. They shut out the Yankees in New York, and they came back here, and they pitched a double shutout.
That pitch is ball 2. Bill Lee pitched 6 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. He walked only 1. He pitched very well. He pitched good enough to be running a string of goose eggs. 2 balls, no strikes. There's a strike, 2-1. That's Ken Griffey at first. There are 2 out. Another seat squirmer of the 75 series.
Some writer in Los Angeles wrote the other day that the way this series has gone, that the team that wins the 7th game would have a decided advantage.
There goes a runner. Swing and a miss. The throw down. He's in there easily. Stolen base for Griffey. His 2nd of the series.
Ned, you mentioned that Moret does not have a good move to first. He's also slow to home plate with that high leg kick. Doyle makes a good play to prevent the ball from going into center field, where Griffey might have gone to third.
He's got a lot of potential. And he unloads, and he's off the mound that way, getting out of the way of the throw. Doyle made a good save here. Kept that ball from going into center field.
The Reds have attempted 11 steals and been successful 9 times. They were successful over 80% of the time during the regular season. Some record. I think that's the highest percentage for a team of all time.
And Griffey down on second with excellent speed will be challenging some fine throwing arms. A great throwing arm in right. And Evans, a fine, accurate throwing arm, and Lynn charges the ball well in center field. I don't know much about Rick Miller in left, but it's hard to score on anything at the left in this ballpark.
Rick Miller can play anywhere out there.
3-2 Boston. Top of the 7th. And the count goes to 3-2. The on-deck batter, the leadoff man in the Cincinnati order, Pete Rose. Three-two pitch. He walked him. Again, you see the figure 9 for 26. He and Yastrzemski have the most hits in the series, 9 apiece. The Reds threatening in the 7th. 2 down. Runners on first and second. Low for a ball. Now the Boston fans are becoming uneasy. I can't imagine Rose sitting out 3 days with the rain. There's a line shot to center. Here's a man rounding third. Here comes the throw. It is not in time. The other runners advance, and the Reds have tied it and have runners on second and third. Griffey scored easily. Lynn's throw was wide of the plate. Armbruster raced to third, and Rose went down to second on the throw to the plate.
Here's the ball hit out to Freddie Lynn, center field. Griffey with a good speed off second. Nobody in cutoff position for the Red Sox. A fundamental mistake, allowing a runner, Pete Rose, to go into second.
The Red Sox haven't made many mistakes in this series, but they made a couple in this game that have hurt them. One on a potential double play ball that could have put Lee in the dugout without any scoring against him. The Reds went on to get 2 after that. Now the Reds have 2 men in scoring position. They've tied it up. They battled back. I told you earlier, 3 runs is not much of a lead in this part. Time call.
Not only the mistakes on defense, Kurt, but a couple of times they left the bases loaded. The Red Sox did when they had a chance to blow it open.
Morgan has struck out. Had a successful drag bunt. The pitch is low and is flied out. 1 out of 3. Armbruster's at third. Rose is at second. 2 down. A tie game. Two and 0. A right-handed batter, Johnny Bench, is on deck. Willoughby, a right-hander, has been heating up in that bullpen for about 15 or 20 minutes. Jim Burton's a left-hander. This will be a 2-0 pitch to Joe Morgan. He lines it foul down the right field line. A 2-1 count. Darrell Johnson. He hasn't changed expression in this series.
Nope.
He lifted his cap once when Fisk hit the home run last night. What did his wife call him, Tony? Old stone face?
Old stone face.
They were kidding him about it tonight, and a little crack of a smile. 2 balls and a strike. 3-1. Barrett nearly fell down after that delivery.
Trying to get a little bit extra. Morgan prides himself the fact that no one can throw a fastball by him, and he once said not even Sandy Koufax could. And he'll be looking fastball right here, 3-1 count.
3-1 delivery to Morgan. He pops it foul back out of play. 3-2.
He wanted that one, too. He was mad at himself. He had a good rip at it. Missed it.
Morgan and Perez tied this year during the season for the most game-winning RBIs. They each had 15. Perez planked one tonight to get the Reds back in the ball game. A tremendous homer out on a Lansdowne Street. Over everything. The bases are loaded. Barrett walks Morgan. And Johnny Bench is due up. And here's manager Johnson coming out. Reggie Cleveland and Jim Burton are in the Red Sox bullpen. Clay Carroll was warming up in the Reds bullpen. Ball 1 to Johnny Bench. Armbruster at third. Rose at second. Morgan at first. 3-3 game. There's a high pop foul. Let's see if Fisk has room. And he leans in and has it. Boy, he's been deadly on those foul balls around the stand.
Kurt, the friendly Fenway fans just backed off.
There it is, 3-3, last of the...
Due to time constraints, we'll now go right to the top of the 9th inning.
Ball 1. I think Tony put it very well before this Game 7 in his interview with the two managers. There really isn't going to be a loser in this series. There is, but there isn't.
Well, baseball is going to be a winner for sure because it's provided plenty of entertainment for baseball fans all over the world, really.
Ken Griffey, ball 2. Jim Burton is the new pitcher. His second series game. Pitched a third of an inning in Game 3. Griffey walked in the 7th and then stole second. Outside, ball 3. Burton this year won 1 and lost 2. Three runs, 8 hits for the Reds. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Red Sox. The Red Sox have made the only errors of the game, both by Denny Doyle. Strike 3-1. Griffey has been on base each time. He's singled, he's reached in an error, and he's walked. Geronimo on deck, and then the pitcher, Carroll. Foul ball, 3-2. Just checking the record, last night's game was not the longest game by time. 4 hours and 1 minute last night. 4 hours and 13 minutes, the Mets and the A's in 73 in 12 innings. Ball 4, Griffey's on. Walks may be the decisive factor of this game. Walks hurt the Reds in the third inning. 4 Red Sox batters were walked. Now Griffey leads off the ninth with a walk.
Griffey's the guy you want to keep off base always, but especially in this situation. With a bunt in order, Petrocelli will be charging, and Griffey will be a hard man to force out at second base, keep him out of scoring position.
Geronimo's hit into a double play, struck out and popped up. Game tied 3-3. In the split screen, you're looking at Griffey at first. Doug Flynn is out on deck. Good bunt. Petrocelli falls down, makes the play to first. Boy, that's throwing from your rump.
Rico had thoughts of going to second base, but as soon as he'd slipped and fell, it was all over with. He made a fine recovery, being able to get the ball over to first base to get the fleet Geronimo running from the left side. It looks like Dan Dreesen is coming out.
An excellent hitter. Acquired as a free agent in 69. Pounding ball to Doyle. There's a throw, moving over to third. Here's Griffey. Dreesen is out. Now the switch hitting Pete Rose is coming up. And Rose now leads the World Series in base hits with 10. His last 2 times up, he's singled to right and he's singled to center to tie the game up in the 7th. 2 down. Griffey at third. A tie game, 3-3 in the top of the 9th inning. Pete Rose. Not as tough an out as you want. Or don't want. Fastball's inside to him. 1 ball, no strikes. The Red Sox in their last of the 9th have Miller, Doyle, and Yastrzemski scheduled up. Ball 2 and a curve.
A lot of pressure on that young kid. He's been pitching carefully to Rose, obviously, in this situation. You can see how he grips the ball behind his back.
There's a curve strike. The Reds lost to Baltimore in 70, to the A's in 72. They want that world championship. Veterans like Rose and Bench, Perez, Morgan, we've been through it. Right now they're down to the 9th inning of game 7. Curve is inside, ball 3, 3-1.
Steady diet of breaking balls to Pete. We've got Morgan, the left-handed hitter, up. He is a dangerous threat, but Burton at least would have the percentages in his favor somewhat. Left-handed pitcher against left-handed hitter.
3-1. Strike 2 and a fastball. 3-2. Ken Griffey at third. 2 out, 9th inning. Now the crowd roaring. Oh, that was really ball 4. Tried to curve him, and it wouldn't act up for him. Looked like it slipped out of his hand as he tried to flex the wrist and put the spin on the ball.
That's what Darrell Johnson came out to tell Burton. He said, if you're going to throw a strike to Rose, he's going to have to hit your breaking ball. We'll set up a force at second base, pitch carefully to Rose. We'll go you against Morgan, left-hander against left-hander.
They have runners on first and third, the Reds, 2 down. We're tied 3-3 in the 9th inning. Morgan has 1 hit in 3 times, and he's also walked. Ball 1 to Joe Morgan. Griffey at third. Rose at first. 2 away. Foul ball back. I'd hate to pick the most valuable player of this World Series.
Going to be tough.
Who are you
Gonna
going to
consider
pick?
a lot of people. Well, you're certainly going to have to consider Louis Tion for beating Cincinnati twice, 2 complete games. Evans has gotten some big hits, made a great play.
Rose now has 10 hits. Yastrzemski's played well. Been a lot of heroes. Give each one a hubcap. The 1-1 pitch. There's a shot to left field. That is foul. They have been pitching Rose outside most of the series. Or Morgan outside. And I thought they'd be pitching the inside, but they haven't.
That's the way they pitch him in the National League. Most clubs, they bust him inside. Interesting that he said to us before the game around the batting cage, he's going to try and go the opposite way if they keep pitching him away.
And this crowd roaring again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Curveball, spank foul. So we're back to the same situation. Cincinnati, the 2 down, has Ken Griffey at third, Pete Rose at first, Joe Morgan at bat, 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a looper, may drop. It's in for a hit. Here comes a throw to third. Rose hits the dirt. He's safe. And there goes Morgan down to second. And the Reds have the lead 4-3. As Joe Morgan blooped a base hit into center field. Scoring Griffey from third. The throw from Lynn to third was too late. Rose hitting the dirt there. And on the throw to third, going down to second, is Joe Morgan.
Jim Burton made a good pitch down low and away to Morgan. Looked like a breaking ball, but Joe just stuck with it and just looped it off the end of the bat. Darrell Johnson out. He's already called for the right-hander.
Johnny Bench, 0 for 4 tonight. Reggie Cleveland pitching the bench. Ball 1. Cleveland's 5th game starter, his first Canadian-born player ever to start a World Series game. Ron Taylor, John Hiller, among others, have been Canadians who have relieved in the World Series. Reggie was born in Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
That information passed to you by a former Canadian, Alan Roth, our statistician. Got a nice write-up in Sports Illustrated this week.
And deservedly so. A great job with us for 10 years. Outside, 3-0. Perez is on deck. 2 walks this inning. The Reds received 3 walks in the 7th. They were walking them early, and now the Red Sox are walking the Reds late. 3-0 pitch. And they gave Bench the green light on that one, 3-1. Rose at third, Morgan at second. 2 out. Cleveland's 3-1 pitch. Strike 2. Knee-high fastball. The Reds have left 6 coming into this inning. The Red Sox have left 9. Twice the Red Sox left the bases loaded. In the 3rd and the 5th. Three-2 delivery. Pop foul out of play.
Been that kind of series, hasn't it, where that one little base hit could have busted open almost any of the ball games we've seen so far. We saw it last night as both clubs battled back and forth.
The Reds with 108 wins, romping away from the Dodgers by 20 games, sweeping the Pirates by 3, were heavily favored to win this series. But even they admit the Red Sox are a much better ball club than they thought, and both clubs have great respect for each other. Johnny Bench walks. That's the 3rd walk given up by Red Sox pitching this inning. And here is Perez up, who hit a 2-run homer in the 6th. 1 out of 4. The Reds were the favored team tonight, even though they were playing in Fenway Park. Odds makers made the Reds the favorite with Gullett starting. Gullett and Lee are both gone. Perez can add to that RBI total with a base hit. 2 down, bases loaded. Fastball, strike to him. Here's the one-strike delivery. Quick to 0-2. We'll probably see McEnany in the last of the ninth with the left-handers coming up for the Red Sox. 1 ball, 2 strikes. National League trying to crack through with its first series victory in 4 years after the A's won 3 in a row. One ball, 2 strikes. 3 men on, 2 down. High and away. Perez wanted it, then held up.
He is so tough with men on bases, as he's shown in this series after starting off so slowly to be leading the series in RBIs. He's done it his entire career. When men are on, he bears down a little harder. He guesses a little more. He's tough.
2-2 pitch. He hits a high fly out to Evans in right field. Everybody running on it, and Evans gathers it in. But the Reds picked up a run on 1 hit. There were no errors and 3 men left. Last of the 9th inning coming up. The Reds lead. Right now, Joe Morgan. Bloop single in the center is the difference of this dramatic series. There he is. Here's the first pitch. Benitez takes a curve inside. Benitez has had 1 hit and 7 times up in this series. Rose playing him shallow at third. Swings and fouls it back 1-1. McEnany has stuff. Good fastball that moves. Sharp breaking curve. He and Eastwick have been a couple of real finds for the Reds. Youngsters out of the bullpen. And they've been trained to be relief pitchers. That's the new style in baseball. Groom them right from the tender age as specialists. There's a fly ball to right fielder Ken Griffey. 1 down. Benitez flying out. Denny Doyle has had 1 hit in 4 times. And they're calling him back. Bob Montgomery, a reserve catcher. A right-hander is coming out. He can hit a long ball. This will be his first appearance in the series. Montgomery is a licensed pilot and a model train enthusiast. All he has in mind right now is trying to get a hit or get on. McEnany's delivery. There's a ground ball to Concepcion. The Red Sox are down to their last out. The Reds are 1 out away from winning the World Championship. And Carl Yastrzemski gets a standing ovation. Win or lose, he's been a great player for Boston since 1960. And he's the captain of the team. Well, maybe it's fitting he has the last shot of the series. McEnany's delivery. Outside, ball 1. The Reds need 1 more out, and they're the champs. Curve is low, ball 2. Carlton Fisk on deck. The last time Cincinnati won a World Series was 1940. Strike 2-1. 2 down, nobody on. Joe Morgan's bloop single right now is the difference. Top of the 9th inning, he put the Reds ahead. There's a high fly ball. It should be all over. Geronimo's under it. And Cincinnati has won the World Championship, beating the Boston Red Sox 4-3. The Reds win it in Fenway Park. Some of the veterans in this team have been very frustrated. They wanted this one badly. After winning 108 times this year, setting all kinds of records, it would have been a deep disappointment for them not to win. But they ran up against a ball club that extended them right down to the final inning of Game 7.